The roar of a Lamborghini slicing through a dew-kissed meadow carries a peculiar fury, like a storm of shattered glass, harmonizing with the wail of a wounded beast. It was the third violation that week, each one carving deeper into my heart. From the weathered threshold of my barn, I stood, fingers curled around the splintered handle of an old shovel, watching as two women in a pristine white Lamborghini Urus tore across my land as if it were their personal coliseum. Clouds of dust rose in anguished swirls, chasing their reckless path. My cows fled in terror, their lowing a desperate plea. A hen, startled, flapped into chaos, and a fence post buckled with a mournful crack under the weight of their tires. The car didn't pause, surged forward, defiant. Inside, two women reveled in their conquest, as if they'd tamed the wild itself. The passenger, blonde and flushed with reckless glee, leaned out the window, her laughter a sharp blade slicing the air. Her companion, steering with a brash confidence, hid behind oversized sunglasses, her jaw working a piece of gum with the ferocity of a child devouring cotton candy at a fair. Susan and Carol, the twins' embodiments of arrogance, their presence, as loud as the engine they commanded. I'd met them a month prior, on a quiet Sunday dawn, mending a frayed wire fence at the edge of my property. A pulse of bass had shaken the earth before I saw them, a gleaming white beast cresting the hill, spitting gravel, tearing through my sanctuary like it was mere scenery. I waved them down, arms raised in a futile gesture of authority. They stopped, though Susan nearly clipped a goat in her haste. Lost? I asked, stepping toward the driver's side, my voice steady but firm. Carol, dripping in rhinestones and disdain, smirked. Nope, just cutting through to the highway. GPS says this is the way. I pointed to the hand-painted sign they'd ignored. Private property. No trespassing. You're on my land, I said. Susan, in a pink crop top that barely clung to her frame, snapped a photo of me with her glittery phone case. Oh look, Carol, Farmer Joe's got a shovel and a temper. Carol chuckled, her voice dripping with mockery. It's 2025. Maybe don't build your farm in the middle of our shortcut. They sped off, tires screaming, leaving a trail of scorn and dust in their wake. I thought it was a one-off, a city folly born of misread maps. But they returned the next day, and the next, transforming my fields into their personal racetrack. Every few days, as the sun dipped low, that grating bass would rattle my windows. They'd barrel through, flattening fences, churning topsoil, scattering my animals, waving as if we shared some twisted camaraderie. They even brought friends, once a convertible packed with women as loud as they were, honking like it was a parade. My land, my labor, my life, they treated it all as a backdrop for their careless joyride. They didn't care about the earth beneath their wheels, the animals trembling in their wake, or the man who poured his soul into this place. I tried civility. The first week, I taped notes to the posts. Private property, please respect. They vanished. The next week, I strung a chain across the path. It was cut. I called the county, left voicemails with the sheriff, even pleaded my case to Deputy Marks over coffee at the diner. Trespassing's tricky, he said, dipping a fry into his milkshake. Need video proof or witnesses? I'm the witness. I counted. It's my land. He shrugged, offering a weak smile. You know how it is with those gated community types. So, I was alone. The twins grew bolder. One morning, I found a gash carved through my soybean field tire tracks, scarring the earth that was meant to feed my family. My heart sank at the sight, the promise of a harvest, now a battlefield of ruts. Then came the TikTok, sent by my niece, captioned, "Shortcuts and bad beaches. Hashtag Lamborghini life asterisk." There they were, Susan and Carol, laughing, hair whipping in the wind, speeding across my land like it was their stage. The comments cheered them on. Queens, make that farm a runway. My farm, my home, reduced to a prop for their fleeting fame. They weren't just reckless, they were a plague, trampling my life for likes. All to avoid a stoplight on County Road 9. I'd been patient. Lord knows I had. I'd tried every legal, peaceful avenue. But there's a breaking point when your livelihood is mocked, when your boundaries are erased by those who see you as less than the dirt they ruin. I began to study them. They came Fridays and Sundays, always in the late afternoon, always draped in garish glamour. Susan in neon greens and pinks, Carol in leopard print. Their outfits clinging like a challenge to the world. Their car, their pride, gleamed impossibly, not a speck of dust daring to mar its surface. It was their altar, their identity. I thought, what a shame if something marred that perfection. Not vengeance, no. I'm not that man. But justice. Justice is nature's way. So recklessness reap ruin. I turned to the land itself, its rhythms and secrets. There was a low stretch near the corral, a natural dip that held water after rain, the clay beneath greedy for weight. I could work with that, under the cover of night, with crickets weaving their quiet hymn. I took my ATV to the field, armed with tools and supplies, sprinklers, hoses, timers, and bags of clay from a friend in construction. Over days, I crafted something subtle, invisible, trap that blended with the pasture. To the eye, it was just another patch of earth. But step into it, and you'd sink deep. I tested it with a hay bale. It vanished like a stone in a pond. I called it the Reckoning Field. Then I waited, the remote for the sprinklers tucked in my pocket like a talisman. Every distant rumble made my pulse quicken. On the fourth day, as the sky burned amber with sunset, I heard it there, unmistakable. Roar. Susan's laughter pierced the air. Carol, scarf fluttering, grinned like a thief. The Urus gleamed, a pearl in the fading light, heading straight for the trap. I leaned against a fence post, calm as the earth itself, and whispered, "Welcome, home." The Lamborghini charged forward, headlights cutting through the dusk, engine snarling as Carol pushed harder. Susan, arms out the window, bracelets clinking, filmed their triumph. No doubt mocking the hick who hadn't gated his land. The shadows stretched long, hiding the clay pit ahead. My silent partner, Carol, honked, scattering birds. Susan shouted, "Want a ride, Farmer Joe?" They were yards from the trap now, their confidence blinding. My thumb found the remote. A faint click, a hiss, and the ground beneath awoke. At first, nothing. The car glided, smug as ever. Then the sound of wet, sucking slurp as the front tires kissed the clay. The rear wheels sank, slow at first, then deeper. Carol jerked the wheel, her face tightening. The Urus dipped, shuddered, and stopped. Mud sprayed in elegant arcs as the tires spun, clawing at nothing. Susan's laughter died. Carol floored it, and that was her undoing. The wheels dug deeper, flinging clay and manure skyward, splattering the pristine white paint. The car tilted, humbled, sinking into the earth's embrace. Susan flung open her door, stepping into the mire. Her scream was cut short as she sank to her knees, slipping face first into the sludge. Her neon pink top was now a canvas of brown, her dignity lost with a sandal in the muck. Carol, cursing, climbed out the window, only to slide off the hood, landing hard in the filth. The air reeked of manure I'd layered for effect. Their friends, trailing in another car, erupted in laughter, phones out, filming the chaos. "Susan, you're a mud-dipped diva," one cackled, already streaming. Carol's eyes found me, still as stone by the fence. "You did this," she shrieked. I raised an eyebrow. "Built a field. Guilty." Susan, dripping, pointed a trembling finger. "You'll pay for this, you backwoods lunatic. This car's worth $200,000. Tow it out." "Then," I said, voice even, though the last tractor stuck here needed a crane. Their friends howled, one shouting, "This is TikTok gold." Susan lunged toward me, slipped, and fell again with a sickening squelch. Carol screamed threats, but the earth didn't care. I pulled out my phone, filming calmly. "Deputy Marks, here's your trespassing proof, your property damage, your threats." Susan froze, mud dripping from her chin. The sirens of a tow truck called. An hour earlier hummed in the distance. The driver, sipping coffee, surveyed the scene. "Ladies stuck," he called. Susan, chin slick with mud, demanded action. He scratched his beard, not without a waver. "This ground's a liability." Carol blinked, incredulous. "It's not off-road," he shrugged. "Ain't a road either." The twins stood, pride sinking faster than their car, now a mud-streaked monument to hubris. I walked back to the barn, sipped iced tea, and watched the tow truck lay boards. Susan barked. Carol checked her reflection in a smeared phone screen, but their reign was over. The field had spoken. The next morning, silence greeted me. No engines, no bass, just the soft hum of cicadas. From my porch, coffee in hand, I stared at the cracked mud where the Urus had drowned. By noon, the town was buzzing. A friend of the twins had posted the fiasco online, titled "Karen's Take Luxury Shortcut. Farmer Delivers Muddy Justice." It exploded 3 million views in a day, then local news. Susan's faceplant, Carol's slide, the Lamborghini's defeat, all set to dramatic violins in a slow-motion edit. The town roared with laughter. Strangers shook my hand. A farmer 2 counties over sent beer with a note. For all of us. But the twins weren't finished. Days later, a legal notice arrived, accusing me of property damage, defamation, and emotional distress. The melodrama was laughable terms, like booby-trapped terrain, and malicious humiliation sprawled across the page. I didn't flinch. I had footage, time-stamped with no trespassing signs, logged calls to the sheriff, and neighbors ready to testify. My lawyer, Vic, an old friend, chuckled at their complaint. They trespassed, broke your fence, and fell into their own mess. Let them sue. We'll counter. We did. My claim: trespassing, property destruction, livestock endangerment, harassment. I billed them for repairs, regrading, and lost time. Their lawyer, some city suit, saw the viral video and dropped the case, knowing it was a losing battle. The clip spread a YouTube karma compilation, a late-night host's jab about a Lamborghini learning humility. My farm's quiet social media page surged 1,000 followers. Then 10,000. I posted once. A muddy tire captioned, "The Earth Fights Back." Comments flooded. Legend. Farmer Gandalf. I leaned into it, uploading a dry-humored video on soil drainage and legal trespasser deterrence. It went viral too. Sponsors called boots, hoses, even a podcast invite. I declined a reality show. I'm no star. I'm just a man with a farm and a point to make. Months later, I saw Susan and Carol at the grocery store, no makeup, no bling, pushing a cart in a gray Kia Soul. Carol's eyes met mine, fleetingly, and I saw it: humility, maybe shame. Susan muttered, looked away. I nodded, whistled, and walked on. Some stories end clean. My field is quiet now, the animals at peace, the fences whole. The only tracks are from my tractor and boots that belong. I keep the sprinklers buried, signs fresh, private property. Trespassers will be humbled. Karma's patient, but sometimes it just needs a little water, a little clay, and a heart that's had enough. If this tale of justice stirred your soul, hit like, subscribe to KH_stories, and share it with a friend. Got your own story of standing your ground? Drop it in the comments. And remember, don't trample a farmer's heart.